Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. As usual, I'm your host, Mike. Hello. How's it going, everybody? Glad to be back. Glad to have y'all here. Feeling good. We're gonna play some Last Epoch. And, as a special note, Twitch drops are on right now. This is too high. Why is it so high? Twitch drops are on right now, and all your favorite streamers got them going on. Hopefully, we do have them here for the hour you'd like, or the couple hours you're gonna be here. This little note, boom, Twitch drops are enabled. Should be good to go. As usual, we do stream for charity right above my head. Looking great. Everything goes to there. I just found out from chat that it's our affiliate anniversary. There's all sorts of cool stuff happening today. I had no idea. That's wonderful. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. I'd be happy to answer them. I'm a developer for Last Epoch, so I hopefully can answer them. I'll do my best at least. Another announcement I'll do at the top of the show here that we will all say again at the end as well. We are going to be doing a lore dev stream soon. If you are interested in getting lore related questions answered, get those together, start thinking about them, and we'll put up a post or something to say like, hey, submit your questions here, so we can have things ahead of time, or just we'll announce a dev stream time so you can bring them to the show live and we'll answer lots of questions there. But yes, we are planning a lore themed dev stream soon. I think that's it. Yeah, if you have questions, put at Last Epoch Game in the chat so I know you're looking to get a question answered by me, and they'll be passed along by the wonderful Kane, and I will do my best to answer them. We're going to turn off our notification sounds that I forgot to do. There we go. Shrink those drops back down. Whoop. And we're rocking the owl with us here. 'Cause I like it. And we're rolling. Let's go. That was some fun. We got some questions. The first one right off the bat from Steve. This is a plant. This is an internal question that is very welcome. How did you get so handsome? Lots of time and effort. But thank you. It's really just in the confidence. Once you believe you are. All right, when can we expect season 3? Season 3 is we don't have an exact date on season 3 yet, but we are working on it. It is in process. We have switched over almost entirely to season 3 content at this point. There's still some hot fixing stuff happening for season 2 just to get some issues fixed and dealt with that need to happen right away. But new content coming is being worked on season 3 right now. It's going quite well. We do have an internal date targeted already, so we know when we're planning on doing it. When that becomes a little more solid, we'll be announcing when that is. But for now, it is in the works. What the thoughts on making resonance being either removed or potentially dropped higher? Because being able to gift gear to friends is nearly impossible. Oh yes. So yeah, this is one of those things that it's very difficult to reduce the rate. We really want players to be able to play together and find stuff for their friends and be able to share that with each other and the people that you're playing with, and having that experience be collaborative and like that is stuff that we are really interested in making work. There's a lot of room for problems to arise if we make that too quick and easy. We figure most of the time if you're playing together a lot, most of the stuff you're finding you are going to be able to transfer. It is a little tough when you get like a new player show up and you're like, oh, I want to just gift you some of these random items. They're not actually that valuable. I think a lot of the problem arises from having the relative rarity of certain unique items not be equal based on their legendary potential status, which is where a lot of the like the cutoffs happen for what resonance you can use, right? Like it's, whoa, that was close. Whether or not it can be resonance gifted is not really a good indicator of how rare the item is, because they don't all create equal in that each of those tiers. So, this is something we're definitely looking at improving the system. We don't have an exact idea on how we're going to do it yet. If you've got ideas on how you'd like to see it updated and improved, we are very interested in hearing that. And we do have a channel set up in our Discord for collecting said ideas. We'd be happy to hear about that. What are the thoughts on... Oh, yeah, is that... if lizard tails are dropping in-game, is it possible they are being filtered out? Is there something in the loot filter that would be hiding them? I think they'd be classified as a... I think they're listed under keys, and I don't think you can filter keys. I think as an item type, they are always visible no matter what, but I could be wrong. Also, what are you talking about? I don't know, that doesn't look like anything to me. Are you guys sure they are actually able to be dropped? I've seen 0 tails in hours and hours of grinding. I feel like I've seen only 1 now. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sure that'll make more sense eventually.
That was close.
But I don't think they can be. I could be wrong though. Filtered out, I mean. The thing that I don't know what it is. Yes. All right. Can we get the ability to change the mouse color / graphics so we can see it better with a ton of stuff is on screen? This is something we'd love to do. This is a engine limitation that we don't have a solution for at the moment. If there was a way we could do to fix this, we absolutely would. Currently, the only options I've seen for this available are third-party solutions, unfortunately. But it's something we'd love to do. I did not clear anything out. We're falling into our old ways. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This isn't good. Oh no. Oh jeez, Rick. Okay, let's get some of these down because I've got a couple that I can that are new for me. Get a couple of those down. And we always love having these. Let's get to the edge a little bit faster. With the smooth launch, it was pretty good. Yeah, there was like a little hiccup right at the start, and cruised through that, which was nicely and recovered. I think we found our footing, which is great. And what seems to be just bug fixes, is this a good indicator that the next season is on pace for 4-ish months? I can't give you a set timeline right now. The next season is looking really pretty good in general, and like things are going well, things are going smooth. There's no major speed bumps or hiccups to talk about right now. But I can't really say any details. I'm sorry. I know it's frustrating. Hope you had a great week. I did have a great week. Happy to catch you live, hitting you with a shaman question. I'm ready. It has been a very long time since shaman skills got a new unique. Interesting. Earthquake, tornado, avalanche, and storm totem. I feel like we were just talking about storm totem with something. The problem with working things out of order. I think 0.9 and shaman is missing a 5th skill. Anything to share that would new shaman builds be theory crafting next season? Nothing specific. I know there are a lot of there's a lot of new uniques and interesting stuff coming. I don't have a specific like, hey, this is coming next season for shamans available right now. When we start teasing stuff a little better, we can probably share more. It is interesting though that we haven't had a new unique since 0.9 that affected a shot. Like, there's really, that surprises me. I'll do my best to pitch a couple shaman uniques. Oh, hey, look. Oh wait, yeah. It got me. We're just not gonna talk about that. I also do know what this bug is, so you may notice sometimes that in here, because there's quite a few of them, when we fire Heartseeker, it looks invisible. We can do make it happen. Come on. There we go. That was an invisible one, and because it just targeted barrels, the part of destructible objects that ability objects attach to for visuals is disabled by default for performance reasons, and Heartseeker is the only thing that attaches itself in that manner to those objects. And so we have to turn on a huge performance hit on every single item to make those every once in a while invisible Heartseekers be visible. So for now, at least, they're invisible. We got a belt. Can you add the ability to make abilities by mobs to be order the abilities on top of the effects and more damage they're going to? Oh, okay, I see what this is asking. So that like the things that are more important to the players to be viewed show up more graphically pronounced, like so they're like higher up so you can see them, and the things that are less dangerous are kind of filtered to the bottom of like the visual stack. Not really. Part of the problem is that something that might be super dangerous to one person might not be super dangerous to another person, and vice versa. Because like you have different defense stacking and things like that, different weight, different ability, different things are dangerous to different players. Like someone who could be standing in a dot, and that dot is super dangerous because they have no like armor mitigation for dot, and they maybe they don't even have full resistance for that specific element or damage type, and then someone else might have like overcapped resistances for that, and like you know like absorption for it or conversion or something like that, and it's like a ton of defense for that specific situation. So it's really, I don't know if it's possible to order them like that. We do in general try to make things that are scarier be more pronounced and easier to see and have a longer lead time. There's probably some good examples of things where we could just across the board make something that is more dangerous, more prominent and obvious. Yeah. What have been the major challenges for scaling EHG to deliver more frequent content? I think so. A lot of it was with the procedural generation system that we were setting up. Also, I missed stuff, didn't I? Right at the start, we had a raiding party from Lang. I recognize that name. Welcome everybody there. And Toyomat84. Thanks for the sub. Appreciate you. Wondrous. We also have, we have 2 points. We have 2 points. Really need to fix this. Oh, whatever. Let's just pick something fun. Nemesis spawn rate. We love Nemesis. Yeah. Sure. Nemesis. How many plurals for the word octopus do you know? Because there are 3 valid plurals for octopus.
Freedom at last.
There are octopi, octopods, and octopuses are all valid plurals for octopus. Yeah, like there you go. The armor. Oh yeah, it's of course it's hidden behind a little drops notice, isn't it? We can hide that for now. Major challenges for scaling EHG to deliver more content. Yeah, I think it's been getting people to take off hats. I know it sounds really weird, but I think that there's this like offloading of we have a lot of things that like a lot of us worked on so many different things, and letting go of some projects and certain like elements of the game has been tough to like hand off to other people, but it's been really good lately, and we are I think that's helping speed things up a lot. Will there be another engine upgrade anytime soon? Yes. Well, maybe. With that being said, if that is a thing, what kind of visual upgrades can we expect? The engine upgrades don't do a ton for visual updates on their own. It's one of those things that like they can have. They'll have some updates on its own that'll sort of happen, but then give us some new tools for ways that we can actually just improve our graphics pipeline. Most of the things you see in graphics improvements in the game are stem from us just getting better at making things look cool. I say us like I had anything to do with it. Getting the people who make this awesome stuff are getting better at it all the time. So it's yes, I think that we do plan on having more engine upgrades. And yes, we do plan on increasing the graphics and visual fidelity of the game like all the time. Those aren't necessarily like directly linked to each other. But yeah. Are there any builds the team expected to be really popular this season but wasn't, or the other way around? I mean, I said this before. I always expect Necromancer to be more popular than it was this time. But that's the biggest one I think that was sort of like a surprise miss. Womp 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 womp. Okay. It was just as a practice. It was a practice. Oh goodness. That should be cleaned up. Go away, tooltip. That's fine. Oh yeah, a point. Yeah, we don't need gold rewards. Get rid of them. They're out of here. Roadmap update today, since season 3 is almost fully being worked on. I have no idea what's happening with a roadmap update. I'd love to see one too. I think it'd be sweet. I'm gonna take that that raid as agreements that they would like a roadmap as well. Welcome, Belly Just, and all of those people there too. Hope you are having fine afternoon, evening, morning. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. There's that laser that's no longer quite as scary, but still can lay down the hurt. I think I'm gonna switch. I think I'm gonna go the cold route on this build. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Just to switch things up. So we're gonna start looking for cold damage related stuff. I think I'm gonna change my loot filter out. I might change that out in downtime instead of live on stream here. My loot filter's all physical right now.
Easy.
Right. Cosmetics offline when? I do not have a good answer for that at the moment. As far as I know, there's not any ETA on something like that at the moment. Would be really nice though. Any plans on a guild system or something? Yeah, this is something we've started to talk about a little more in the last little while. There's nothing planned for season 3 around this, but I think it's starting to get more into the idea of something that we could do. There probably wouldn't be a ton of stuff involved with it at first. I think it would be more along the lines of kind of what I've said we didn't want to do in the past, but I've definitely come around to it myself, is basically a glorified chat room. Just kind of all you need sometimes to build a little bit of community inside of a game. Which is a big part of what, you know, guild systems are. It's a way to build a community. Having a guild chest is something that quite often gets asked alongside it. Is not something we're likely to do anytime soon, because it does completely remove the point of the Merchant's Guild and Bazaar. You know what that ring's for? That ring is for slamming. Nope. Swing and a miss. We'll get one. Don't worry. All right. Have you guys considered doing shared customizable spaces? Yes, which would give you the sense of a community. Hey, tie in. That's nice. They can double as a pseudo hideout. Yeah, I think there's probably somewhere in the game that would fit that really well. Finding it would be tough. We'd have to search pretty far and wide to find that location that I think would be really good. Really good fit for that sort of thing. But yeah, I think that sort of thing would be really good. Yeah, I do want this off here though. This has some stuff I'm looking for, but it's on the wrong base. It's part of the big problem there. Go get some rogue gear. Maybe a guild system if they are in a guild. We can gift openly. Yeah, yes, this is tying in wonderfully. Yes, this is the sort of thing we probably wouldn't do, because tying into an open gifting system would remove the need for the Merchant's Guild to exist. And you'd end up with like so we talked a lot about this, and this was actually basically one of the options we considered instead of the Merchant's Guild. Okay, it got me. That did not see that coming. It's okay. This was one of the systems we actually considered before making the Merchant's Guild. Was we were calling them warbands, and it would have allowed for basically a reduced scope, like a membership type free trading system or limited trading system with like less limitations than the Merchant's Guild has now. There was some issues with it, but yeah, that was one of the things we considered. I don't think that it works great to have both of that and the Merchant's Guild at the same time. And I'm pretty pleased overall with how the Merchant's Guild's doing. Obviously, it needs some UI UX improvements that we're working on. Some of those things were restricted by backend limitations that we, in order to get the system out on time, we just kind of had to accept was going to be a thing. Some of those are things we just missed, and we tried to update a few of those as we have gone on here. Nice. All right. Oh, what's your thoughts on making something like a co-op tree that you could choose nodes that would impact your builds while you play together? For instance, you could have a node that when playing with a Heartseeker, and your mage with Firewall, when the Heartseeker passes through the Firewall, it is now a burning Heartseeker. Not even sure if that's possible, but I think something like that would be hella fun. Keep up the good work on your fitness. Oh, thanks. Yes, it is. This is the sort of thing we've talked about doing since like day one. This was one of our early things. the classic example actually that the thing that sparked this as a possibility was a mechanic in Chrono Trigger actually, and in Final Fantasy 9. Best Final Fantasy, I'll argue that till the day I die. And the original version of that was Fire Tornado. Was Primalist makes a tornado, and Mage shoots a fireball at the tornado. It's now Fire Tornado, and that's how we couldn't get that to work properly and play smoothly and not have any issues. So we actually just added Fire Tornado as a node. That's why Fire Tornado exists in the game. And thank you very much for the sub, Jeffrick. Thank you for the sub. I appreciate you. I'm sorry for failing miserably at pronouncing your name, as I do like 90% of the time. I don't know how I'm so bad at it. But yes, the co-op tree type thing. We've been really hesitant to put content into the game that requires a party. So this sort of thing is like having a tree that goes with it. It does solve the issue of not wanting to have like unwanted effects. So there's some tricky stuff here where, like, say you have we'll put it on Frostwall in fire mode, and so firewall is there, and shooting projectiles through firewall turns them into fire projectiles. Okay, the person that's shooting those projectiles has a ton of physical damage buffs, and suddenly their projectiles are being turned into fire, and their damage is getting nerfed pretty hard. So suddenly you have this capability where someone can say, like, I'm going to spec into my ability one way that makes you worse, and that sucks. And then there's the other half of it where, like, if that node doesn't do anything, if you put that node on either half, you put that node in the Heartseeker tree, you put that node in the Firewall tree, if the other person isn't there and you're playing solo, suddenly that's a dead node, and that feels bad, which is what I think this idea of having a separate tree to invest in is trying to address, where you're both agreeing on what goes in there to strategize ahead of time, and you're also both agreeing on that it's going to happen. And you break it out from the node, so you're not actually you're not wasting resources that would go into when you're playing solo. This is stuff we've talked about quite a bit. We don't have any plans for something like this at the moment. There are some like minor versions of this that we've wanted to do quite a few times. There's going to be a couple nice bows there, I think. The green bow means it's a really good bow. Green ring means it's ready for upgrading. Ooh, run away! Come on, let me in. That was weird. Someone in in-game chat's real funny. I'm glad that's not visible on the stream. All right. Will Season 3 let me use Wandering Spirits as my main skill? I sure hope so. I love Wandering Spirits. There currently aren't enough support for the skill to make it as a main. I don't have specific, like, this is going to be buffed enough, that's not going to be buffed enough, that sort of thing available for you, which I'd love to be able to give out. I can't. There's some decent stuff happening in the world of Acolyte that I think you'll be in general pleased about. I'm really trying to talk generally, not specifically about an individual skill here. But I think there's enough of a shakeup that it's kind of hard to tell right now exactly what's going to be the meta option for Lich. Because even just minor, and Necromancer too, even just minor changes can have pretty big impact. The impact that even one well-placed unique can have on an entire class is pretty crazy sometimes. Have you considered adding some chase cosmetic items to the game as very rare drops? For example, Rainbow Wings from D3. Obviously, a lot of the monetization of the game is cosmetic, so it would be fine line, but cosmetic chase can be fun to unlock for an account. I agree. I think having some cosmetics that are unlockable in game is a really big plus, and it's the sort of thing that we're in general interested in doing. The list of I guess the percent, if we had done that with like, let's say 3 cosmetics that you could earn in game in season 1, that would have been like a third of our cosmetics available, you know? So I think there's a little bit of a little bit of more room to play with now that we've got more cosmetics in the game in general. I could just walk out of here, couldn't I? But I wouldn't have found that axe. Oh, it's my favorite shield. At 1 LP, no less. Oh, yeah, there's some good bows here. Which ones are the good ones? Let's shatter some of those ones. I think that was also shatterable. Yeah. Okay. Now let's check out some bows. What do we got? What do we got? Fizz crit on the base for both of them. That's looking closer to what we want. Not quite right. That's got potential too. I think I actually am going to try to craft on this a little bit. That's T4. That's unfortunate. Ah, I can do this later. I'll leave it in there. And keep answering questions. This is the problem I have. Is I'm like, I just want to play and noodle around and toy the build. Why not answer questions? No, I'm just kidding. Right. How's it going? Good. How's it going with you? Can you tell us what's up with transmogs? The only thing we've released so far about transmogs, it's on our roadmap. I don't have a specific timeline for it, but it is something that we are interested in doing. It's part of this whole attempt to make the game look better in general. Give players a little bit more control over what their characters look like. You know, there's sometimes people really like the looks of the in-game gear, but it doesn't always match up with the best in slot gear. And so you know, transmog is something that we really want to do to allow people to use it. It kind of just opens up opens up all of the existing gear as cosmetics effectively, that people can use. So it's a huge amount of stuff that opens up all of a sudden. How to make your character look cool. So that's the sort of thing we are interested in doing. I don't have an ETA on it. I don't know anything about it right now. I'm sorry. So after playing the OP builds this season and then playing the non-OP builds, are there any plans to balance upwards for lacking builds rather than nerf OP ones? I mean, we get this question just about every stream. I did a graph that actually went decently well drawing on my screen last stream. That I would reference back to. Basically, the TLDR of it is that it's a combination effect of bringing up the underperforming and bringing down the overperforming so that they can together be performing. Because there are some builds that are pretty clearly doing some things that they weren't really intended to do. But we still want those playstyles to be fun and interesting for players. So we don't go nerf into the ground. We go nerf into go from astronomically overpowered to just a little bit overpowered is kind of the goal.
I won't forget that one.
All right. That went well. How soon could we see something like an endgame skill tree similar to a Paragon board to further customize your builds? I think something like this is growing towards would be super fun to keep people engaged in the endgame. Yeah, so this is, I mean, it's kind of just an extension of like the passive tree. It's just like passive tree continues sort of thing. It's not something we're super duper interested in directly doing. We've been, there's lots of ways we try to extend the end game character customization, and usually it's through items, specifically because they're things that can drop in the world. So yeah, we are looking at ways to kind of give players something to grind towards that's fun and interesting, and something that you can like get power out of as you're playing still, and have new and transformative effects on your abilities. This is something we are interested in, something that we're working towards. That sort of thing, like it won't look like a Paragon board, and it'll look like really small things peppered around everything we do in the end game. And it comes from even little things like just blessings I would put in a category like that, and like almost like the new idol enchants I'd put in a category like that. And there's these things that we're doing to kind of like give you new ways to keep building your character as you get into systems that unlock in late game. But we're hesitant to link those directly to experience in endgame for power specifically. Have you thought about a third item faction, something crafting focused instead of Lux, COF, or trading MG? Yes, we kind of push. COF has like a little bit of that. If we were going to do that, we'd have to like take some stuff out of COF a little bit, because there's some crafting stuff in there already. Let's give this a reset. Why not? But yeah, we definitely have considered that a few times. It's not something we're currently working on right now. Finish these off. Make life just a little easier. Whoop. Nice. A ring. One. When will the quiver be visible on the rogue's back? I think it will fit nicely. I like you. Who is this? Please ask this question again every week. No. I agree. I want it too. Currently, the only way to do it is through a cosmetic, and it's a specific one. I'm sure you've. I'm not gonna bring it up. Hotkeys. I know where they go. There's a version that's very similar to this. It's kind of the only way right now. I don't even have the quiver one. It's on sale. Is it on sale? It was just featured. I don't care. Buy it. There we go. That's the closest thing we have to a quiver right now in the back slot. And I really, and it's swords. I know it's not even a quiver. It's not even close. Never mind. It's this one. Like I knew there was a quiver. Okay, we've got our quiver on now. There we go. I'd love to have a real quiver though. That's just like always there by default. It doesn't play super great with the back slots that are there. I feel like it's one of those things that we might be able to like convince to happen with the transmog system. At least that's my hope. The dream. Still playing 2 LP. Yeah, it's not nothing but grumble, grumble, grumble. Is there any chance you can show updated Uber stats? I can try and get some for next week. I do not have any this week. All I have on me are like the same ones we had before. Like the same stats that they were before. I don't have the new ones, unfortunately. That would be interesting to see, like to track that week over week. to see like how many people, how it changed over week, because like as time goes on, you know, like the player count decays, it naturally happens, and but also the player base does get on average probably stronger and more powerful, so there's probably more people able to complete it, but at the same time it only tracks new completions. I bet that like if we tracked the rate of change for kills for each class over time, I think that would be really interesting data. I doubt we have that tracked. But comparing like how people would go, I bet we'd see a huge like spike of Sentinel builds at the start, obviously, and then you know, other ones starting to catch up a little bit, probably. Maybe not though. It is also interesting to note that if you change your character's mastery, it won't go to the new mastery. So a Void Knight that was changed into a Paladin will always show up as a Void Knight on those stats. It will never show up as a Paladin or Forge Guard. The unique node. That's a repeat question. When snapshotting eventually gets removed, yes. Will things like Primalist Companions be reviewed? They feel really janky survivability wise, and the whole revive gimmick. Yeah, I mean, the companions are designed such that you don't see them die very often. It's one of those things that you're not supposed to be like, oh, it's like my companions are dying constantly and I'm having to interact with this revive mechanic constantly. It's more of a like, every once in a while something happened and a revive is necessary to keep them in the fight. But for the most part, they shouldn't really be dying very often. Without snapshotting, they shouldn't be dying very often. Because we try and give a lot of tools to allow players to like save them with things like Terra's Blessing, and also just like AoE healing effects and things like that, and buff effects, and being able to command them to move and stuff like that. So like, we really don't see, the goal is to have companions be very durable naturally. Not immortal though. It's Falcon's thing. Interesting. Interesting. Take off my helmet. Quick strike avoidance. Something else too, probably. The rain one. All right. But yes, when we do eventually go over, when we do fix snapshotting, we will address the balance of minions in a post snapshotting world. How great is the updated spider indicator, so you know which one's the objective and which one is not. Lovely. Any plans for stash movements? Oh yeah, we got stash movement plans. I don't know when or exactly what it's going to be yet, but there's quite a few things that we're looking at, see what we can get in from various just little quality of life. It's basically all quality of life stuff, really. Just little like, I don't want to give examples in case something doesn't make it in, but there's a whole bunch of little things. We get a ton of suggestions for this. If there's something specific you'd like to see for the stash improvements, we are keeping our eyes open on our suggestions channel in our Discord for those, as there are lots of great ideas that have come in, especially as seasons become more frequent and we're able to, and people are going to be like rolling over their stash layouts from season to season. Having that be a more smooth process that you can not have to reset up your stash every single time if you have 200 tabs. Just improving that whole experience is really important to us. But of course, there's like 80 little things that were like, oh, we could do this to it, we could do that to it, we could do this to it. Oh, wouldn't it be cool if we did that to it? You just can't help ourselves, I know. Should we aggro all 3 of these things at once and see what happens? I don't know if I want this one. What's set? Yes. Not using it, but it is a nice one to have around. Hi, I love the game. Huh, wondrous. I'm glad you're enjoying it. New to the chat. What is your role in the community? Ah, good question. I don't say that very often, do I? My name's Mike. Hello. I am one of the, I guess my what's my actual title right now? I am a senior technical game designer. I think it's my actual title right now, technically. It changes every once in a while. And yeah, I've been working on Last Epoch 7 years now. Let's find it. Really quick. I've got it's one of like 2 posts I have saved in Reddit. Tuesday, August 1st, 2017. At 10 p.m. My first contact with Judd. Yeah. So I've been around the block for a while here. Mostly right now I work on skill development and design stuff. Systems design. And I do the stream, which is fun. The highlight of my Friday, usually. Basically, I'm a big old nerd. Do you plan to add the challenge 100 men versus 1 gorilla to the game? No, probably not. Is it possible to sort plugins for the client? We don't have any mod support planned. I don't want to say no forever, but there's nothing on the radar right now for mod support. We'll get it one day.
Easy.
Would you consider adding some extra slots for lenses at the observatory? It can get a little tedious to re-roll a lot. Love the game. It's possible. I think if like less re-rolls was the intention, I think we'd be more interested in like having more options show up each re-roll on average, just increasing the volume that shows up to reduce the re-roll chance needed. That's probably the direction we'd go. I think there's a level of like min-maxing that happens sometimes with those. Like once you get really deep into it and you're like, okay, I've got to find these specific things. There can be a level of min-maxing that starts to expose some of the flaws, some of the weaknesses of the system a little bit more. I think there's a risk in adding more lens slots in that it does, it just increases the complexity of the system more and more. And I'm not sure it really adds too much more depth to it. Which we like to avoid doing. Do you have a timeline for the remaining chapters being added to the campaign / story? Not specifically. The next one is we're in development, in the active development for the next one, so that's on its way. But they won't be all together. They'll be one at a time. Nice. Got all 3 of those. That's great. I'll shadow that too. Go lightning damage. Don't get out of here. Oh, hello, friend. Are you going to add FSR and DLSS to the game? I do not know. I sure hope so. That is something that is available to us now. Wasn't available before. Recent changes is something that we now do have the capability of adding. I mean, that's the sort of stuff that, like, yeah, we need to do engine upgrades to be able to do, and then it's on us to actually implement. Nice to get this. Adding another one. I've completely regressed to my former self. It's officially happened. A complete regression. It's okay if you can't be honest with yourself. Let's go down here. This way looks fun. Hey, you guys have plans to add quality of life updates for blessings? I'm tired to farm max roll blessing. So it's I wouldn't call this a quality of life change request. I'd call this like a mechanical change to the system. It's not something we've currently planned to increase the chance of finding specific blessings or something like that, or let you select them or something. It's not impossible. It's not something that's on the list at the moment right now. If you'd like to see it, head on over to the suggestions channel in our Discord, and you can recommend that we take a look at something there. Make things easier. Add more. I don't know how you'd want to do that, but like add more drops per option, or reduce the roll ranges or something. We do have like finding max roll blessings is designed to be one of those like late game farm things that we were talking about earlier, where it's like it's not designed to be expected to be completing a character. It's not designed to be quick and easy. It's a min-maxing thing. You're grinding out a late game Paragon board. Same sort of thing, right? Sorry, quiver, shatter. Sure, let's see if we get one of those. Nah. Oh my goodness. Oh, we have fallen behind on questions quite badly. Can we get webhooks / APIs for character data? That actually does exist. It is still locked down. It's not public yet, but that is what you can use Last Epoch tools to access some of that. They use an API for that we've provided, which I think is, we're still making sure that's really good before we open it up more. I've been wondering since 0.84. Wow, it's wild. Do you consider integrating the numlocking inside the game as an option for each skill, like a checkbox or something? It's a nice use for some skills, but it's really annoying to set up every time for alt if you alt tab the game. This is something we've discussed. It is not currently something we are planning. It's a tricky thing because it's one of those things that we don't want players to feel like numlocking abilities is the expected way to play. And as soon as we put that in the game, we're saying, hey, this is how we're expecting you to play, basically. which is a bit of a problem. And we do a lot of things to actively reduce the need to numlock skills.
They won't forget that.
Ooh, all right, we'll take that. But it's something we were just talking about last week, so. Any work being done on skill point reallocation after gear changes removes point. Maybe it could remember the order points were added to add them when they were again when when the 0.0001 second gear swap ends. We don't have a smooth way of doing this right now. I'm sorry. We'd love to, especially in the swap case where it's if you're going from one item to another. It is supposed to tell you which nodes they came out of, so you can put them back in easily. That might be broken right now. They're all in there. I guess we just look here. Couple hiding. Couple hiding. We can just do this. Not a bad idea. That's what we're using. Might get something better. Right. I need to go kill a Harbinger. I want this to upgrade finally. I want an upgrade. Ooh, what's this? Interesting. Is there any plans to add more content to the endgame? Yes. Like different monos, extending skill trees, repeating the whole content in different corruption feels a bit boring. Yeah, we are always adding more content to the endgame. Especially now where it's like adding more content's even easier with the ability to add more woven echoes, better systems in place for adding procedurally generated content. You know, like there's lots of stuff we're working on. Endgame content is always on the list. Always. If it was possible to turn on visual effects of skills and mob attacks, turn off visual effects of skills and mob attacks. If it's possible, could that help players with lower end computers who have performance issues, or regardless if you see the attack or not, it's the same demand on the PC? I'm asking because I have watched players play when the screen gets full of stuff. They bog down and almost freeze. Because they big down ain't a phrase. Yeah, we're always trying to do things to improve the performance. Performance is top two is on our list. This performance is always either top spot or number 2 spot on what we're working on. There's lots of visual culling things that happen. Lots of tricks to make stuff just a little bit smoother. And they could always be better. Bees! Not the bees! Alright, let's get to the end of this tomb. Finish off this Fate Weaver. Get some idols. Get rolling. Get our reward. And get out of here. Love it. This is one of my favorite weapon types in the game. The anchor. I just love it. I just love it. if we as soon as we get transmog stuff going, this is gonna be my first thing to transmog onto like every weapon I have. Yeah. Turning off visual things, yeah. Selectively disabling VFX for certain things in the game is something we've wanted to do for a while. It's not something we have a good solution to at the moment. They always seem to cause issues. It causes situations where it causes more harm than good, where you just like die out of nowhere. All right. Also, are you planning to do something with the useless legendary items that comes from Nemesis? They're useful to reroll stats on fresh LP or just higher, better legendary implemented items. So yeah, that's already in the game. Any thoughts to making COF items drop on, any thoughts to making COF item drops or pro? Flexible not. I don't understand this question. Please re-ask it again. I will be happy to answer it. Oh, it's the next question right below it. Sorry. Any thoughts on making CF items drop or prophecy completions more obvious? There we go. It was repeated right after. Right now, I rarely notice when it happens. Yes. Wonderful. Sorry about that. I mean, there's a big like banner that shows up when it happens, right? This is like prophecy completed, and there's a sound cue as well, isn't there? If you're struggling to hear it, that would be a great thing to put in the and see it. That'd be a great thing to put in the feedback section of our Discord, and then we can take a look at giving a bigger option or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing some too. I feel like I haven't missed one in forever, and I think it has a big like audio and visual component that says like, "Hey, it happened." I'm like second guessing myself hard here now. Anyways, moving on. Any opportunity for ForgeGuard to craft weapon not from melee hits? Oh, like to create forged weapons not from melee hits. Something like Kitava Smith, get out an anvil and spend a couple seconds to create a weapon. Yeah, we've definitely talked about things like this. We almost made an ability once that was just like that, where you like would actually actively stop and do something in mid combat, but like it feels we tried to make our minion systems be pretty unique class to class. So like we want the way you generate minions to feel different, or the way that minions interact with game systems different. Or the way you interact with existing minions different from class to class. So like Primalist and Necromancer, or Beastmaster and Necromancer, both like you summon your minions directly, but the way you interact with them after that is very different. And then on ForgeGuard, quite often when you're creating a lot of your minions, Manifest Armor is obviously different, but when you are creating a lot of your minions, it is as a result of combat damage. And that's sort of like difference in interactions is something that we are trying to, push a little bit, because class identity is one of the key design pillars we have for the game in general. Let's go down this way. Who doesn't love a good cemetery? I guess I'm pretty close to actually doing the boss, aren't I? I should just wait and do that. How close is... Oh, you can't see that from there. Would there be an opportunity in the future to have some more group-centric focused content? For example, D4 Dark Citadel raid type, you could utilize many different tactics that require multiple players to complete. I think there's starting to become room for that. We've held off on having any content that's required to be in a party to complete. I think part of that has to do with, most people have reported that they don't even want to play in a party, even if it was an option, and if it was required, they would do it, but begrudgingly. And that's not the sort of situation we want to put people in general. I think now that we have more content, it's getting to a point where we can do that realistically and not have people feel like they're forced into playing it in a game mode they don't want to play. Alternatively, having some sort of like the usual I guess counter argument or design option for this is that you put in NPCs that can join you in your party as well, and they're kind of either just absolute crap, and it's really hard to make them bounce, almost impossible to make them bounce really, so they're generally just terrible, or the better way to do it, in which case it just becomes single player content again. So it can soften the blow a little bit, where it's like still possible solo, but it still locks out a lot of people and just becomes more of a specialized single player challenge for players that want to min-max things. But I think we're getting to the point where it's more reasonable to put it in the game now, because we have more and more content. Is there any chance in the future that the team adds quest sharing? Interesting. It's because I play together with the small time content creators, and it would be nice to just have focused on group leaders quest. Yeah, I think that's weirdly doable, actually. I think it's one of those things that I might just not be remembering something that's important, but I'm pretty sure quest sharing should actually be possible. Great thing to put in the suggestions channel on our Discord. Would be wonderful to have. Is there any chance in the future that the team adds, all right, answer that. Any chance for UI customization for buffs and debuffs? We don't have any plans on UI customization at the moment. It is something that I think will be, I know there's a lot of people on the team that are very interested in that. It's not something that is super appealing to the people doing UI design, because it is not from a an ego standpoint, but just from a having it still look good after it's been customized, without letting people get into situations where it is horrible and kind of hard to play, is a lot of extra stuff to keep track of, and making sure the UI is at the very least very good is really important, and that comes first. But I do agree that there are certain things that would be really nice to be able to customize, and we do try and put little customization options for UI in there. Something as simple as the loot, filter, complex as the loot filter, does add in a bunch of, a bunch of things for UI customization right there alone. But I do agree that I would love to have a little, like I was saying this a couple weeks ago, I'd love to have one skill that you can set as your priority cooldown indicator. That's what I call priority cooldown indicator. Love the name already. I was just off the cuff, and having a little green dot that just shows when it's off cooldown. Love that. I would put shift on it, and it would just be hey, my shift is ready. But yeah, there are certain ailments or effects that are really important to have, to know if it's up or not. And certain classes like Marksman and I think Rune Master is pretty bad for this as well, where you can get so many different buffs active at the same time, where you're just what? I don't have time to parse my entire buff bar to check if something's working or not, and the buff bar becomes more of a tool to see if when you're in the arena or in the arena entrance, the Champion's Gate, to test on a dummy if you've got a buff or not active, than anything else, rather than a game time decider. Can we get an option to choose one mod on Weaver's Will items? I rolled 40 Cultist Needles on hardcore and got 0 attack speed rolls. Oh, that's tough. We don't have any plans for that at the moment. It's really powerful to be able to pick which one specifically, but we did just kind of add that to Legendary Potential, which is like a sister system. See, that's possible. Suggestions channel on our Discord. Nice. Getting some more boots like that. Excited to see that. Give me that amber. Hey Mike. Hello. What are your thoughts on more direct connections between loot filter and stash tab priority? it would be lovely to be able to do. There's certain things in the way that the stash system works that don't lend themselves quite as well to the way that the loot filter system works, which I know sounds kind of weird, but nope, this is the button I'm looking for. One of these days. Okay, more questions. Hey Mike, what are your thoughts on? I already answered that. 1:30. I am 40 minutes behind. Ah! If you're wondering why I'm not answering your questions, it's because I'm 40 minutes behind on chat. Sorry. I'm gonna put up after the cemetery, we are gonna put up a teaser, and I'm just gonna answer a bunch of rapid fire questions. Have there been any talks or pre-planning for Last Epoch 2? It'd be cool. Or is the plan to keep working on improving LE? One of the things that keeps me from the game is animations, and wasn't sure if that would require something like LE2, or is it we pushed into an update? Well, there are, I can say one thing I can say is good news. There are updates to animations coming. Like sometimes they're like really little things, or they seem like really little things. Like when your character runs and turns, how they you never angle your body in. Like if you like go outside and run in a circle a bunch, and you'll notice that you'll angle your body inward to that turn. On the like on camber, like turns where you lean in properly. Is that the term? Sorry if I butchered that. But yeah, and so like that sort of stuff in the animations we're trying to add in, splitting the torso and legs in animations, and having better blend animations for different attacks, and having them be able to be interrupted earlier, and transition cleanly. So like there's lots of things we're doing to animations to make them look better in more situations. That's happening regardless. We are over the line. We are gonna go fight a boss, because we like fighting bosses, and we want a greater blessing of crit multi instead of a regular one. Please, I'm begging you. Armor shred. And more health and damage. I think that we are going to get curb stomped, but I'm actually, oh no, I want to do the Harbinger because I want an upgrade. New classes or master. Oh yeah, I was gonna. You just, here you go, we're safe. We're safe. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. Oh, here, let's look at this little guy. Look at the cutie. Look, cutie. He's so cute, yeah. Oh. Here's a little teaser for season 3 coming up. I forgot the needle. I did. Oh well. New class / masteries possible plan. Yeah, working on them. That's a ways out. Don't get excited. Sorry. There will not be any new classes or masteries in season 3. To be super close, just rip that band-aid off. There's a new skill coming, and other new stuff that's awesome coming as well. But no new masteries. That's a huge one. All right, posted in forums for asking for cut and paste filter rules. Any hope? Filter rules. Possible? I feel like we just did this, didn't we? I was duplicating the whole thing, not the individual rules. I duplicate this rule. Yeah, right there. You can't see it because it's underneath the thing, but it's there. I promise. Duplicate this rule. There it is. I'm gonna ask it, and then I'm gonna vanish. Semi-skimpy armor when. It's a good thing you ran away after that. No. We've been very hesitant to do anything like this. I understand that it's a very common trope in games. It's not something that I've seen plans for in general. Like, I think there needs to be sort of a reason for it. If there's a thematically appropriate reason for it, I think it works. Like the Primalist starting armor is arguably fairly skimpy, you know, but it's thematically appropriate. It makes sense, and it's period appropriate or something. I don't know what you want to call it. All right, why is there no prophecies for Rune of Havoc and Rune of Redemption? Because there's no way in Merchant's Guild to get those easier either. Hey, is there a reason why Smite's Fissures subskills don't have an area tag? Not that I can think of. Not a good one anyways. Hey, by getting a chance, we'll be able to add audio cues or minimap icons to the loot filter in the future. If I have my way, yes. Do I have any progress on that at all, or anything I can actually say that promises it? Not even a little bit, I'm sorry. Especially on a minion or dot build, mobs often die behind me or off screen, which would make me miss exalted gear, etc. regularly. I think there's two halves to this, really. I think there's the exactly what you're bringing up, the you're missing gear that's dropping, but also the fact that there's just like beams and icons that don't need to be there very frequently. Like, I don't care if a 0 LP humming bee sword drops. I don't need an icon on the map. I don't need a beam on the ground for that, you know, but I do want a 4x-T7 exalted to have a beam and an icon. My goodness, yes, I don't care what it is. So yeah, I think there's definitely there's both halves of this, of clearing up. I think if we added this option, we'd actually see fewer beams and map icons. The big risk here is that if we give this option, we see way too many, and there's huge performance concerns that happen there. And if we say, like, you say, okay, we'll just rate limit it so you can only see X number that happen at a time, and then they become unreliable and it's even worse. It's a whole kettle of fish. But yes, I think this is I think we need to trust our players to not wreck their own stuff, and give them the option to make them better. Weird way of saying that. I'd love to. All right, next question. Will we be able to have pets grab gold off the ground? No plans to at the moment. What about adding Steam achievements to give us some extra chase? Working on it. We are, I think, just finished ideating which achievements we're going to put in. Bows for Beastmaster when. I'd love to. I think this has to come with an ability that goes with it, because the big thing is that suddenly you don't have any abilities that you can function. You have basic attack, and that's about it. Either the bow needs an ability on it, or the abilities that are on Beastmaster needs to function with it. There's different ways to do this. The big theming that it's the hunter theming, right? The other option is bringing a like Falconer kind of tries to do that a little bit, but I'd love to branch it out more. I'd also love to do bows on Sentinel. I think that'd be the other big thing. Bows on Sentinel I think would be sweet. Have you heard about a character sheet rework? This is your reminder. Thanks for reminding me. Not happening yet. Sorry, still working on it. Will Masochist return to the game? I'd like the challenge you provided and was removed. Yeah, we replaced it with the boots. You're probably aware of it, but just in case you're not, at the start of the game, there's a cave you can break open, and there's a bear you can fight in there, and then another cave you can break open, and another bear you can fight in there, and then they drop some boots that are the Masochist boots. Nothing to do with LE specifically, but how did you get into game development? Is there a go-to way to get into it? Here's something I can ramble about while I died at this boss. I went through the kind of classical education route as a computer science major for university, like bachelor of science degree, and I'm gonna have to focus a little bit, aren't I? I was not trying to get a job in game development, not trying to get a job in game development, but that wasn't my goal. It was sort of wasn't even on my radar as an option. And was making games in Unity with one of my friends. We made one game that was mostly just an experiment to see what it was like. And it was a ton of fun. And responded to a Reddit post and got involved with Last Epoch. And that's kind of it. Nice. My recommendation for people trying to get into game development is build a complete prototype for a game that you want to make. Okay, I survived those. That's good to know. And like actually finish a game prototype, do the whole thing, the whole process start to finish. Doesn't need to be flashy, doesn't need to be amazing. But actually see if like taking a game from concept to release is something that you enjoy doing. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work. The UI going, the effect being so bright in front of the, like so heavy in front of the screen there, made me think that it had killed me. Hey, we got the Grand Blessing. That's what we want to see. Lovely. Flat health is nice to have too. I think we're critting enough that we don't. I think the multi's better here. Envy, we'll take it. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, everyone. So I have this problem. I have this horrible problem that I always do. Professional streamer, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Oh. Oh, god damn it, Mike. Okay, I'm just... Oh, what are we doing here? This is what I'm doing. Oh, I died in that last one. I guess we're gonna have to try it again. Wait. Are they in here now? No. Do I not have one? I mean, I have one. I just don't have any. Okay, never mind. Oh, look at that. We're doing it again. Oh my god. I'm sorry, guys. I do that every stream. I don't know, like it's not normally that bad, but at least once a stream. I need to figure out a way to not do that anymore. Like some sort of overlay on my screen so that I know when there's something up. I got King like shouting in my ear over, not literally in my ear, but like off to the side of the screen, like these gigantic letters. If I'd looked for 2 seconds, I would have seen it. Entirely my fault. It's okay. It's okay. Any plans for more idle stuff? Rerolling class idols. There is more stuff. Ah! That's weird. That's really weird. Oh, the boss drops, right. That's cool. Rerolling class idols, recombining, smash them together idols, prophecies, focus on giving class idols bias to what class you are playing. We are probably not planning on something like that. We considered a recombining system for the idols, and we got the enchantments instead. That was an instead of thing. Will you be adding damage for minions on tooltips anytime soon? We're working on it. It's probably not coming season 3, I don't think. Can you blink once with the new Lich skill? Will have a cold melee conversion. I don't know which conversions it's going to have. I think it only has one conversion. I don't remember which element it is. I'm sorry. I don't think I would tell you even if I could remember. What am I talking about? Okay, let's do this. This is the real one. This is the real one. Oof. Any chance you'll add the option to automatically pick up materials / shards? Hey, that's very nice. Like gold on walkover. Love the game. Keep up the great work. We don't plan on it right now. It's not impossible. It's not like a guaranteed never type thing, but it's not something that we're planning on at the moment. And we're not gonna make it before this. Oh, Mike, why do you make a portal right there? Yes, run in spot, run in spot. I'm gonna hit my stuff all over the place. What is wrong with me? Okay, here we go. Come on, Mike. First try. You get a better roll? We got a better roll. It was all worth it. Oh, no, change. We want this one. Replace. Yes, confirm. 1%. It's all worth it. Okay. We are gonna cut questions off, I think, here because we are real far behind, and Mike's bad at answering questions. So if you got any last minute questions if you got any more questions you want me to ask before the end of the stream, try and get them in right now, and we're gonna cut off questions pretty soon. We'll look at my beautiful character and I'll answer some questions. All right, will you be adding more minion tool to orients that blink once? Yeah, any chance to add option automatically? Nope. Does the dragon that flies around the end of time, the chrono worm that flies around the end of time, have a name? Is that Orbis? That is not Orbis. I think that's a good question for the lore stream that's coming up, either next week or the week after, probably. Lizard, I'll answer this one right now. I tried, I failed. It's not happening. Could click to claim completion prophecy opposed to claim on completion ever be a thing? We talked about this recently. What was the reason why we weren't going to do this? It's possible. It's possible. We're not planning on it right now, and there's a really good reason, and I can't remember what it was. Because I do understand the issue with it, and a lot of the issues with it we did fix with when you die, you get the stuff that's around you. That does fix a lot of it. Having too many prophecies pop all at the same time, if you could store them all up and pop them all at once, that would be very problematic. So yeah, there's some other reason though. That wasn't it. Any chance of changing the rune of removal to remove a specified affix and not a random affix? Using a rune to remove a bad affix and instantly removing the T67 affix is soul crushing. Yeah, I think that's part of the we'd like to have some determinism and some random elements to crafting. And I think that's one of the things that being able to pick specifically which affix is removed is extremely powerful. I think if we did that, it would probably be a different rune that the rarity would be cranked up on pretty high. Any update on the Unity Lidgren timeout DC issues? Not that I'm aware of. I do not have any personal insight into anything like that. Sorry, no info. If you are experiencing a bug, please use the in-game bug reporting tool. It's fantastic. Hey Mike, who is the season 3 faction and why is it the judges the exiled mages are mad about? I don't want anyone to expect a new faction every season because that would get very bloated very quickly. There has to be a new major system to go with them usually. And sometimes the systems that we put in don't lend themselves well to having that. Would something like D3's Challenge Rift with a random build ever be out of the game? I'd love to. I think having a fixed challenge where it's saying like, here's your gear, here's your skills. You know, like we've put together a challenge. This is going to be difficult, and everyone it's on the exact same footing. I think that's a really fun experience, and I'd really love to. I loved when D3 did it because I'm pretty sure it was correct me if I'm wrong on this, but in D3 it was or is an actual character that actually did it with that setup. So it wasn't like a hypothetical one. It was like a community pulled build, which I loved. And that could have just me making that up in my head. I don't know. Any chance we can set skills on left mouse button or functionality side buttons? You definitely can do that already. The left mouse button is still tied to movement here. So you can't be, it's not split. You can't pull movement off of left mouse button at the moment, but it is like you can set, like this is me holding left mouse button and shift. Yeah. We are working on splitting that out more, but you can put it on mouse buttons already. Like I could put Dark Quiver on a side mouse button or something. I know I didn't really get my mouse into frame there. It's a very boring mouse. Any plans on having an alternate weapon set or even an alternate full equipment set you can change on the fly? Full equipment set change on the fly armory style? No. Weapon swapping would love to. Lost that argument many years ago. Lost that debate many years ago. My goal, I'd still love to see it in the game, and I think it could fit really well mechanically with a specific class. But that'll, if it hypothetically ever happens, it'll be quite a ways out. I'm losing faith, but I still hold on hope. Do you have any plans to improve WASD to act like PoE2 where you can cast walking backwards and facing towards your mouse cursor? That's the gold standard of WASD's implementation at the moment. The version we have right now is the bare minimum. It's the best we could get in the few weeks that we were working on it. Month maybe, a couple months now maybe. The animation updates that I mentioned earlier is something that we are doing that will help with that as well. So we're working on improving the system. I don't want to say it's going to be exactly the same as that. The big change there is that it would require every ability in the game having massive changes to them in order to function that way. Probably not anytime soon if we do it. But improving WASD in general is very important, something that we're working on. Any chance ever doing something akin to Raise Spectre like in Path of Exile? We'd love to. I've talked about this one before. That was the original idea for Warlock. We had technical problems and we had to pivot. Any plans for new ranks and perks for factions? I love COF, but maximizing characters in SSF feels horrible. Of min-maxing characters in SSF feels horrible. Really? Okay. We are always looking at the factions and the ranks and the perks for opportunities to like balance things and update things. So like there's always a possibility we could add more things like that. I don't want you to get your hopes up of like big buffs for COF or anything like that happening. What if stash tabs can be gotten by tokens that drop in combat? It's possible. It's basically just a lot of gold that drops, right? Like that's just it's just lots of gold. So I mean, we can just put like a mega gold shrine, and it's basically the same thing. Yeah, it does have some implications for like Merchant's Guild stuff, and that's, you know, so it's not quite the same thing, but yeah, it's possible. Why was it decided to let players interact with the Weaver system only after reaching the end game and not from the start? It's what happens when I'm not looking at the screen and trying to play at the same time. I run into dead ends and don't realize they're dead ends. Part of it is like introducing systems to players slowly over time and not having it be just a like here's everything. I mean, so the question goes on to Path of Exile, for example, lets you interact with new system very early. The equivalent system in Path of Exile, though, correct me if I'm wrong, does not allow you to interact with it early at all. It unlocks it basically the exact same time, doesn't it? I think. The systems that you're probably more trying to compare it to in Path of Exile will have campaign, like the new versions of things that like those systems in Path of Exile will be unlockable and start functioning in campaign as well. So like whatever I would say that this Nemesis system is an example of that, where you can start encountering that as early as I think level 4 or 5. Cold res. Womp, 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 womp. So now that we've got a terrible suffix on that, because our cold res is through the roof easily, I think, we can go take that one that we're going to get from the Nemesis next time and re-roll the stats on this one to get better rolls on it, if we wanted to. Because our movement speed only is 4% here, so we can try and up that sort of stuff. Someone was asking earlier about use for failed Nemesis rolls. Yeah, let's get this in there. It'll happen. It'll happen. I have faith. You just talked about multiplayer. Weaver Tree and Monoliths feel so bad in multi since it's about 80-20 solution. Can we make it better, albeit not perfect? Weaver Tree and Monoliths feel so bad in multi. Is there a 80-20 solution? I don't know what this 80-20 solution specifically for Monolith would be. When we implemented multiplayer originally, early on, there was a lot of things that very quickly became exploitable in group play, and we had to put some restrictions in place to make the burden of optimal play case not suck, basically, where like we like to optimize our gameplay experience, right? I think that's something that a lot of us can relate to. When we say what's the most efficient way to do that, I think this is exemplified by the very firm need to figure out how these imprint slots exactly work under the hood to optimize what to put in them, right? And what was I going? Oh yeah, and so some of the setups that people were employing early on in the multiplayer systems were not a ton of fun, but were the most efficient way to do things. And so some of the multiplayer restrictions we've had to put in are to make those things not be possible, so that the game can be more fun to actually play. Yeah. So we're still we try and take those out as often as we can, and find better ways to solve those problems. But if you're wondering why something like that's there, that's probably why. Any chance to get gear with more? Oh yeah, we're no more questions. Question cut off. I'm sorry, we're not taking any more questions for the stream, so I can actually get through most of these for the end, and I'm going to try and power through. Any chance we will get gear with more fancy glows and effects that are found versus paid for? There's a pretty clear difference in quality here, in my opinion. Yeah, we do. We tend to go a little flashier on the cosmetic side of things. I think we're likely to see like a little bit more flashy stuff on the non-cosmetic side and a little bit less flashy stuff on the cosmetic side as options as we get deeper into the offerings in both type thing. But in general, the probably the more over-the-top visual style is going to be mostly found in cosmetic stuff. Will there be support for potential colorblind modes? Yeah, there's some things we already do for colorblind support that probably isn't good enough. Like the orange health. I know I've gotten a few people about that have asked about that. A few other things too. Let's shatter some gear. Not bad. All right. Can we also get ranges for specific things like maybe idle resistance value? Oh, like in the loot filter. We don't have any roll ranges in the loot filter at all. I don't think it's possible to add it in at the moment. I think this is a performance thing. Which I know can be a little frustrating because they don't have, like, so in, because the relative power of a non-idle item is quite frequently in the tiers, the affix tiers. So like, you know, because this has a T7 affix on it, that T7 affix is going to be way better than the T1 version of the same affix. So you can filter for that, and then you can get at least closer to the things. Whereas, you know, the roll ranges on idols can be pretty impactful still, but not as, so over 4 idols, those roll ranges build up quite a bit, in how impactful they are. But you can't actually filter for them, which I know is frustrating. I don't think we have anything planned for it at the moment, though. Any changes to idle enchanting? Feels kind of tedious right now. Probably not mechanically at the moment. Possible. If there's something you'd like to see, suggestions channel is always open on our Discord. Thoughts on reigning in the ability to start a woven echo like Rune Prison Complex, not finishing it and then being able to do it again with no clear penalty, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure it has a penalty. Either has one or it's going to have one. I'm being told it states the penalty in the echo description. Reduced events. Yeah, they have penalties. Can you speak on the issue of portals taking forever in campaign while instant in monoliths is really annoying while trying to go back to town? This is specifically in a monolith echo, I believe, because that's the only place where a portal is actually instant in online. Because then this is one of those performance things. In online, we can keep the echo of a world, the place that if you don't have a cosmetic on your portal where the green portal goes, we can keep that loaded all the time. So when you go through that portal, we do this online, it only is transporting your character in space, like in the same server. But when you're on when you're doing it in the single player and offline mode, it is actually loading a new zone. And I don't think we have a quick solution to that at the moment. that doesn't cause performance issues. That's the big thing. Is a lot of these answers like it's like that because of performance. Like you want an extra 20 frames? All right, you're gonna have that loading screen. I don't know if it's actually that much, but sometimes it's quite a lot. Oh, this is campaign monoliths. Oh, I went back down. This is not offline online, but it's the same issue. So in the campaign in online as well. Sorry, I didn't mix up the question there. In the campaign and online as well, it's the same sort of thing. We don't have we have to do a zone transition, but in the monoliths we don't have to do a zone transition. In campaign, it's even worse because we're actually moving you servers. You're jumping to a whole new server. What are your thoughts on giving us skill trees for pets or possibly a companion type of mechanic? Pets definitely have skill trees. Like, yeah. Like, I guess we're talking like a D2 mercenary. Yeah. Thanks, game. Yes. Mercenaries is something that we have talked about. I think if we were going to do that, it would probably be again linked to a specific class, and we've kind of tried to channel that vibe through like Manifest Armor in Forge Guard a little bit. You know what I really want? I want Dark Quiver to react to it, like to scale use speed based on attack speed. I know it's not a bow attack skill, but like the animation looks like a bow attack. It would feel really good. Are there any plans to not die? Yes, there are plans not to die. Are there plans on balancing out power of exalted items versus uniques? I mean, yeah, the fluctuation on what's most powerful of those two things is always going to be a thing that changes constantly. And we want players to be deciding what item in the entire item pool goes in each slot, rather than saying, okay, I'm going to have exalteds for all my slots. What's the best exalted to go in every slot? Okay, I'm going to have uniques for every slot. I want to have uniques. What's the best unique for every slot? And incentivizing different things that can go in each of those types of items is really important. And so that's why certain things like, for example, champion mods can't go on, can't be put onto uniques, so that there's this, like, there are certain things that just like can't be put onto legendaries. To try and incentivize that variety. Like in a perfect world, you open up your inventory and you look at it, and there would be like most characters would have a wide variety of colors of items in here, so it wouldn't all just be one solid color. Be the goal for most builds, and there'll be outlier builds for sure, either on like both sides. Did you guys plan for further improvements for set items? Yeah, there's I mean, so set items, the change to the set items functionality is something that we know we want to do for a while, and we just really wanted to get that change functionality wise into the game so we could start designing set items and like do some more balancing on existing set items as well, based on the new mechanics and the new system, instead of having it just be a blanket, like doing it all at once. So yeah, we're looking to add new sets and revise old ones too. Why does Rogue have quiver that says +1 bow void damage when she shoots, when she doesn't use void? Well, you can add void damage. You can add damage types of any damage type element to attacks, so it doesn't necessarily need to synergize perfectly. And maybe there's stuff other coming in the future. I don't know. Are there plans to improve the sorting in stash tabs? Absolutely. Any plans to fix the bazaar listing? It takes forever and kind of sucks. But I need to be in the bazaar to even sell or check what I sold. I don't know if we're changing that element of it, but we are working on improvements to bazaar UI UX. It's very important. Howdy! Someone once told me that the reason you cannot use Orden's watch to slot in vitality is because that attribute scales with too many nodes. fourth reason, probably. Would you consider allowing us to use the ability to remove it instead? That's interesting. I don't know if there's a good reason why you wouldn't want to be able to remove it. I think being able to remove it and not being able to add it would be really unintuitive. I think that would be the main reason. But yeah, if, suggestions channel, Discord, drop it in there. Best place to get it checked out. If you have an idea, just in general, and this is sort of just a general note, because I tell people go put stuff in the suggestions channel all the time, and I've made this speech a bajillion times on stream, so sorry if you've been here a bunch, but I'm really not trying to just like slough you off or say go somewhere else or something like that, but I'm trying to give you the tools to get your ideas in the game as best as possible, because the way that we say like, okay, well, let's go find ideas specifically from our community about stuff, and we're going to look in that suggestions channel, and that's where we're looking for things. That's the prime place where like the people who want to tell us what they want in the game, let's go find them. Like it's all in one place for us, and that's the best way to do it. So that saves us time, and you know that when you put your ideas there, you're getting them looked at. We look everywhere too, so like we do look other places, but the best place to have the best chance of getting it looked at is in the suggestions channel on our Discord. Well, also on our forums too. Should mention that. What are your thoughts on giving us a villain to play through the game with? I think it'd be super dope and something completely different than what anyone else is doing currently. A villain's interesting. It's tough on the storyline to have this like. It would require a humongous undertaking of NPC voice lines and dialogue text to be interacting with the villain, and how that storyline goes interacting with the villain, because they wouldn't interact the same with that player, and the translations for those is immense, so probably not just from the translations alone, but it is really cool and I would love to do it. What are your thoughts on will there ever be a character creation overhaul so we can customize our characters like gender, hair, skin tones, etc.? We'd love to do it. We are still interested in doing it. I have no ETA on it. It might start small and get bigger. But yeah, it's a very difficult thing, because it is like, for the most part, unless you're wearing basically the exact like cosmetic helmet that I'm wearing right now, it's really hard to tell what your character looks like under all the armor. So it's not, but at the same time, it is a really big priority for a lot of players. This is a really important issue and something that we don't want to diminish at all. It's the age-old question of like, how much work is this for what we get out of it and for the game? And it's moving up the list, but it's still not at the top of the list. Are there any plans for more Uber bosses, or was Uber Aberoth a one-time thing? No, not a one-time thing at all. Please don't say Uber Lagan. Uber Lagan's kind of already there because it's in the campaign, and then Uber Lagan is the monolith version, but oh, wouldn't it be glorious? What if he had, what is like two Lagans simultaneously? There we go. New to last Epoch, but have been playing a lot last month. Are there any plans to have a toggle view to see damage dealt / taken stats by ability type for the player? We do want to expand the character sheet, so like this sheet to have more detailed information, but not like a DPS chart, like that you see in like MMOs and things like that. It's an armory system plan, talking D3 armory, I'm assuming, where you can just like quick swap entire builds. No. Will you put upgrade systems to your supporter packs like they have in PoE? Yeah, we were not able to, with the way it was set up, we were not able to upgrade the supporter packs in Steam this time. I'm sorry. The game editions do have upgrade paths for them, but they're like individual different packs that are the upgrade packs. I don't know if there's any other way to do it or what the process is on that, but it is something that we've heard a lot of requests for. It's part of the problem in having them be, so previously they weren't, they didn't include what was below them, so an upgrade option for them didn't make any sense. Now that they do, it does, so it's we're hearing the request for it though. Are there any plans to update the Blade Dancer skill icons? They look old and lacking. Interestingly enough, they're actually relatively new overall. But yeah, there's been some new ones that have been added. It's hard to see them there. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Not specifically that I know of. Tell us about skill sigils. Oh, sorry, my microphone cut out there. I don't know what happened. That was weird. Okay. I'm wondering, do Weaver Echoes stay in season 3 as well? Yes, Weaver Echoes are staying for season 3. Any plans for being able to hide gold labels pretty quickly playing in COF? I don't really care about seeing them anymore. Tens of piles of gold labels is is quite a lot of clutter on the screen pretty much all the time. I think that's interesting. I think that would be it would be really nice. I remember in like there's can't even say I'm probably not allowed to talk about that. I think having restricted, not because of it's something in our game, but something bad in another game that I probably shouldn't talk about. I agree with you. I think I'd really like to have a threshold where you could say like only show me gold drops over a certain threshold. Things like oh I only want to see if it's a 4-digit gold number, I'll check it out, and otherwise nah. Nothing really exciting in there, is there? What's the problem to be extreme powerful? This is what people complete their builds. I mean, I think that the problem is less in the sense of becoming extremely powerful. We want people to feel extremely powerful, but we don't want the power to be too lopsided, and we'd still like there to be a challenge in the game on a specific curve. So like, or a rough curve. So having a progression system where like the things you do make your character more powerful, and you can feel that progression system, and as you as a player get better as well, you become more proficient, and you become a better player, and so you do more damage and you complete things better as well. So having both of those like character progressions and player skill progressions happen simultaneously to be able to clear harder and harder content is the goal for sure. And becoming extremely powerful is fantastic. Having individual builds that are dramatic outliers in that, where it's just, you know, by walking close to people, everything just dies automatically. I think it takes something away from the game fun-wise, personally, and maybe it doesn't for you at all. But having it be, there's a point where something can be too easy. I think this might not be something you've experienced yourself, but I definitely have experienced it. Is when you're in a like play, I don't know, like Oblivion just came back, like remastered, and I don't know if you've ever opened up the console or downloaded a bunch of mods, and you get a bunch of really overpowered stuff, and you're like, aha, now I am a god, and then the next week you find yourself just like not playing it anymore. Because you're like, I won the fun out of it type thing. I think that's the key thing to want to avoid is having the game just become not fun anymore, because it's trivial. And having it be where it's so lopsided that you have to struggle to barely complete everything on one class, and have it be so easy where you can breathe heavy on something and it completes it with another is where the real problem happens. All right. Do you have any plans to change the auction house, making it easier to track the prices of items and sell them? Yeah. That's a very important thing for us to improve upon. Ooh, piece of candy. Are there any plans for a console release? We would love to do a console release. My goodness, a console release would be fantastic. I don't have anything to share on a potential possible console release, if, when, any of that sort of stuff. It would be great. And there's lots of things we've been doing over the years to make, when we do eventually decide to make that transition, whatever that looks like, to make that process easier. Like, we've been working on controller development since basically day one. And, you know, things like the achievement system we're working on now is, I'm pretty sure that's a requirement for console games. And, you know, like there's lots of things that we've just been working on for the PC version that will end up being very useful in console development when we eventually get around to that. So yeah, it's something that we really like to do. I can't make any promises if it's going to happen or if it does happen, when it's going to happen or anything like that. But I would love it. I do see a lot of people that are like, I've got my PlayStation, I've got my Xbox, I don't really have a gaming PC, but I'd love to play your game. And I'm like, yeah, I can't really help you, sorry. So there's a few of my friends that I'd love to get it in for as well. Do you plan to add more woven echoes in future updates? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I have a tough question. Personally, for me, I got too empowered monoliths and decided to drop the game because I needed to grind monoliths millions of gold to play the game further. Happens when you take your hands off the keyboard and mouse. Millions of gold to play the game further to start making my build work. The trade house has obviously many issues making it unfun to grind. For that, therefore making it unfun to play the game. Do you have any plans to change the auction house? Yes, I mean, so we do have plans to update the UI UX of the auction house in general. I can give you some tips for breaking into the market if you'd like. Playing off meta builds past the first couple weeks in the auction house is awesome, because you can get so powerful stuff for crazy cheap. There's also setting up your loot filter specifically for things that are sellable is really nice, because you can get a lot of gold with just one lucky T7 drop, really. There's certain ones that are worth a lot more than others. Let's see what we got in here. Oh, let's put one of these in for fun. Why not? Why not? But yes, we do want like stuff to just make that process smoother and have it be easier to play with is really important. So we're working on it. And you know what? I think that brings us. We're just gonna bail out of this. That brings us to the end of our week. It's the weekend, everybody. We got there. We did it. We had tons of fun getting there. Ooh. I had a lot of fun that stream, actually. Yeah, we always do, don't we? I don't know why I say it like it's a surprise every time. Yes, if you we are going to do a lore stream coming up. If you're interested in hearing questions about lore and getting to know what's going on behind the scenes of why things are happening in the world of Atera, that would be a great stream to come in for. We'll do a post of some sort to get people to be like, put your questions here. So keep an eye out for that. And we'll be back same time, same place next week. I hope you had lots of fun. If I didn't answer your question, I apologize. It was not intentional. Please head on over to our Discord. There's an Ask the Devs channel there where I will be happy to answer it. Also, lots of great community members that are very helpful there as well. Oh, and 41 minutes late, Vision. I apologize for not noticing the raid. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the stream. Let's go find someone to say hi to. What's going on in the world of Last Epoch streaming? I know someone we haven't gone to see in a long time, I don't think. Could be wrong. Have a great time, everyone. We'll see you next week. Drink lots of water. Have fun. Bye.